I'm Bill.
That's Owen.
He's sleepy.
In today's video, we are going...
Hey, you forgot the dogs.
Oh no! This is Charlie.
This is Coco. And together, we're Fresh Coast Outdoors.
In today's video, we are going to talk about 5 tips for hiking during hunting season. And we're also going to have some just general tips for if you're out in the outdoors at all and hunting and stuff like that. Some common practices that are really good to follow. So, do we want to start with the general stuff or the hunting?
Oh, let's talk about general stuff.
Okay. Number 1, always let people know where you're going.
Have a plan.
Yes. And research the area you're going to. Especially this time of year, you never know if it's open or not, or if the restroom facilities will be open, if they do have them. So just do your own research, call ahead, or pretty much anything can be found on Google. Another thing is make sure to have a means of communication. So cell phone is a good thing. A lot of areas don't get cell service, but a lot of cell phones nowadays, if you do call 911, they can still at least track where you're at. So emergency services can get to you.
Right. And radios, that old two-way radio deal, that's still around. The ham radios are a good option. Realize also that with your cell phone, you might be able to send a text, but you might not be able to make a call. So that's also an option too.
Right.
If you're struggling. So.
Another thing is also, now that we're on the topic of cell phones, is don't completely rely on them because they might, you might not have service or the battery might die and you might not have a way to recharge it. So have a compass or a map with you and know how to use them. That's also a very important thing, so you can at least navigate.
And talking about navigation, don't necessarily always believe your GPS, especially when you're out in the rural areas.
Right.
That might lead you astray. So if you're driving along a trail and all of a sudden it gets sketchy and the GPS is telling you to go along and your gut is telling you to stop, you probably ought to stop. So
listen to your gut.
Yeah. Off-road recovery is a very expensive towing bill. So.
Right. Another thing I'm always a huge proponent of is bring some snacks and water. It's important to stay hydrated.
This girl and her snack packs. Every backpack has a pouch that's just for snacks.
Yes.
And just for Denise.
Right. But I will share if we have to. But bring your own snacks.
And that includes for your puppers, too.
Yes. Yep, very important. And then another thing is proper footwear and wearing layers, especially this time of year. The temperatures can change dramatically. It can be really cold in the morning and get up to the 60s in the middle of the day. So wear layers. It's the smart thing to do. Also proper footwear.
Not proper footwear.
Yeah, those are proper for running. But, if you're hiking in the fall, wear a good hiking boot or a good hiking shoe. That way it kind of protects your feet.
It's also kind of the wet season, right? Spring and fall, we get a lot more rain in this region. So definitely something waterproof or water repellent. And be ready to get your feet wet. So maybe bring a change of socks or a change of all your clothes because you never know.
Yep. And then one other general thing that's really good to do is pack in, pack out. If you bring your snacks and you have a wrapper, don't throw it on the ground.
Don't leave it on the ground like I found this here.
That's
and I see more garbage over there.
Yeah.
So, don't be that person.
Yeah. You carried it in, you can carry it out. It's a piece of trash. Take it home, throw it away there. It's not going to magically disintegrate.
And a lot of times nobody else is here to pick up after you either. Yeah. We are not your mother. Your mother would be embarrassed. So pick your stuff up, take it out. Lately, sites have been getting closed because people have been trashing them. So if you're new to this thing and you don't understand that, we get it. We were new to it once too. So this is your learning time. Pack out your garbage, and that includes your waste, your human waste. So.
Yep, and always leave a site better than you found it. So if you get to the site and there's trash, pick it up. Don't just leave it there. It's the nice thing to do. So I think that was all of our general stuff. So to get into some hunting general ideas to kind of be safe in the woods is know your rules and regulations. The DNR puts out a hunting digest for all the different types of game species that you can hunt. That's available online, so it's easily to search there. You can also get one if you buy your license in a store. Typically, they have them.
Sometimes it's an odd year.
Yeah, so
And
they
COVID
might
COVID messed with
not
things,
have
so they
them.
might not have brochures. But right now, there is no excuse not to know the regulations. It's all online. 95% of you are carrying cell phones with the internet in your pocket. So look at the regulations, and that goes for anywhere you're at. We speak typically towards Michigan, 'cause that's where we're at, but the entire region, Ontario province has all that information online. Um, all the states around us. So get that information and make sure you know the regulations.
Yes, and then if you have additional questions, always just call your local DNR field office. They would be able to at least point you in the right direction. I don't think they're open right now due to COVID restrictions, but if
They might not be open is a weird term, right? They're probably open. There's probably staff working, not
right,
necessarily there, but somebody's going to answer the phone when you call. So
right, or leave a message and somebody will return your phone call.
Right.
If you have additional questions, it's always a good way to go.
And don't necessarily expect or depend on, say, state park rangers. That guy who works in the DNR, but he actually does fires and has nothing to do with wildlife management.
Or that person in the store that you're buying your license from.
Right. Regulations change year to year, and it's very specific to wildlife management. So there are very specific people in the DNR who can answer your questions and keep you out of trouble.
Right. And then another cool thing that is actually on the DNR website is called the My Hunt. It's a GIS map. So it's My as in M-I.
We'll link to it.
Yeah.
And that's for Michigan, again. So it's an interactive map, just kind of like Google. But it basically shows all the state and federal land all across Michigan that's open to hunting. And then you can also flick on little layers that show you where the nearest facilities are. So in that realm, it's campgrounds or state parks. So that's a great resource to know where you are, where you're going, what is public hunting land. Of course, you're not relying entirely on the internet like we talked about. So know where you're at. Watch for signs. There's a little... typically a white sign that says open to hunting or closed to hunting. So keep an eye out for those. The last thing you want to do is get caught hunting on somebody's private property. That's a big no-no, and you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So know where you're at. There's apps like Onyx Hunt, some of the others that do a pretty good job, and you can generally dig even deeper. Some counties have all the property land ownership mapped out on their own sites. So if you need to verify who owns something, you might be able to do it that way as well.
Yeah. And if you're completely brand new to hunting, go with a buddy. Go with somebody that
Find a mentor.
Right, exactly. Go with somebody that's done it before. Tag along. So it'll be fun for both of you.
Yeah, there's find your local conservation organization or your local hunt club. You probably maybe don't even need to necessarily become a member right away. Maybe somebody will take you out and show you the ropes. So. Charlie's putting on his camouflage.
He is.
He gets an itchy face.
All right, so the 5 tips we have for hikers during hunting season. The first one we came up with is wear your blaze orange. You can see Bill is modeling 2 different style hats of blaze orange right now. I have
totally forgot I even had that on.
I know,
it's just super
funny.
Comfortable.
I have this jacket on. It's important that your blaze orange, you can see it all the way around.
360 degrees. So that's either a
I'll
hat
go this way too.
or a hunting jacket.
A jacket.
Like that. That's a bird hunting jacket.
We also have this backpack that I like to use. It's not blaze orange, but it is bright orange, so it's highly visible. I keep my snacks in here.
Yeah. So the whole point is, if you're new to this, the whole point is so that a hunter looking through their scope or with their naked eye can see you. And
Make yourself visible.
yeah, make yourself visible. You don't want to be creeping around the woods nowadays. I think that's one of your other points is to stay on the trail. So the whole idea is that the hunter sees you and understands that you're not a deer or a bear or whatever prey they're going after. You don't want that to happen.
And another important thing is don't forget your fur babies. Make sure your dogs are on leashes and put orange vests on them or an orange bandana, something to differentiate them from a wild game species.
Yeah, we couldn't locate their vests just before we came out here, but we do have hunting vests for these guys, which are actually a protective vest um, that protects their chest from burrs and sticks and that kind of thing, because they are bird hunters.
Yep.
They don't really hunt too much anymore. But we generally, if we're going hiking during hunting season, we throw those vests on so that, if they happen to get away from us on their leash, then we know they're protected. And that's another big thing. Keep your dogs on a leash. Hunting season is not the season to go out and let your dogs run around on public hunting land. That kind of goes back to these are public hunting lands, so they're all of our land, and we need to be respectful of how different people use those lands. So here in our region, honestly, across the entire United States, hunting is pretty serious. So
yeah, you don't want to get in trouble for hunter harassment or anything
right.
like that. So
yeah.
just be respectful. And then also there's different hunting species, like, bears. Somebody might be out with some bear dogs. Those dogs are off leash because they're hunting. You don't want your pet dog to interfere with that at all. So just be aware. And make sure that they have orange on. And then my number 2 is stay on the trail. Now is not the time to be going bushwhacking or geocaching off trail. A lot of hunters know that trails are busy areas for people and pets, so they will avoid them. So since they are avoiding the trails should be safe for you. Another thing, number 3. I do the hands.
Trace.
Research the area and pay attention to signage. We mentioned it earlier. There are some areas that are posted that are open to hunting, and then there's other areas that are not open to hunting.
There's private lands open to hiking.
Right.
Some public trails may go through private land. So just make sure you understand where you're at and watch for those signs. Mm-hmm. Hi, good morning. Fox woke up.
So especially if you are super uneasy about hiking during hunting season, it really freaks you out, there are areas that do not allow hunting. So,
most of the state parks.
Yeah.
Our local state park, Hartwick Pines, is 10,000 acres. They have, the majority of it is open to hunting, but they have an area with trails that is closed to all hunting. So,
right.
Look for those opportunities. Your county parks, state parks, provincial parks.
Exactly. Yeah. And then number 4 is be aware of what hunting season is open in your area. Like I mentioned before, bear season. Some people use dogs and they're off leash and they're hunting. Here in Michigan, we have a really long deer season. Everybody is aware that November 15th is the unofficial holiday. It's opening day of firearm season. But what a lot of people are not aware of is there are actually several different types of deer seasons.
Right.
So
it's like months long here, right? We have bow season, we have early firearm, we have muzzle loader.
There's early and late antlerless season. There's archery. There's muzzle loading, like you said.
And these are all outside of the 2-week normal traditional firearm deer season.
Yeah.
So
there's also the Liberty Hunt, which is also known as the youth hunt, plus the independence hunt. So right there,
and beyond deer,
like 7.
There's the bird season and the small game season that's open typically a little bit sooner. So you really got to watch getting out there and running around in the woods, especially with your dogs. Again, keep your dogs on a leash. Mm-hmm. That's kind of one of our biggest pet peeves, honestly, is when we go to our public lands to enjoy a hike. These guys are always on a leash. The only time we ever let them off a leash is like private property. And even then, it's sketchy because Charlie picks up a bunch of burrs and generally doesn't listen. So
And Coco just can't hear
and
anymore.
Coco can't hear, so if she wants to go exploring, she's gone. So that's one of our pet peeves. Kind of is we'll be enjoying a nice paved trail somewhere, and all of a sudden this giant dog is running up on you barking, and then our dogs start barking, and I don't know if your dog is good. I know my dog may not respond well, so I keep my dog close, but it's really scary when your giant dog is running up on us barking when we've got our kid and our dogs and mayhem ensues.
Right.
It's just rude. So generally keep your dogs close. Total respect for the people who can keep their dogs in voice command. That's everybody's dream,
Kudos
right?
to you for doing some good training.
Yeah. We aren't there. Most people aren't. So just be respectful and keep your dogs close to you.
Right. And then number 5, we touched on this way back in the beginning too, and just a little bit just now, is be respectful to all public land users. The public land is for everybody to use and recreate, not just you and your specific activity that you like to do. So you are going to have people that are on ORVs in areas where they're allowed. You're going to have hikers. You're going to have hunters. You're going to have campers. So just respect each other. And actually, a lot of the funds from hunting license sales goes directly back into public lands to help make them accessible for everybody. So
Yeah, those ORV fees, the hunter
Yeah.
license fees,
they go right back to where they're supposed to be
those
going,
are
to
right.
public land.
Those are
for
really
everybody.
helping to maintain these lands. So
Yeah.
if you aren't an ORVer and you aren't a hunter,
But you're a hiker,
but you're a hiker, don't complain about the others because
you gotta thank them.
it's their funds that are contributing to this stuff. So
Yeah, and with that, those are the 5 tips for hiking during hunting season. If you have any additional tips, leave a comment, let us know. This was just a list that we came up with earlier today.
or if you have other resources from
Right.
other states around us or provinces, drop those on the comments too for other people to find. And
You just fix your hat.
his fox hat likes to migrate over his eyes, and then he screams. So, yep. So get out there, enjoy it, be fresh.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. And cut.